Hello and good day. Thank you for joining me on my Pain to Purpose series. Today I have a special guest with me, and her name is Kuei, and we will be discussing how to overcome trauma by faith. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. It's great to see you again.
Yeah, thank you. You too. So tell me, Michelle, I've had the pleasure of, getting familiar with your story. Why don't you share with our audience and our people what you have been through and how you were able to overcome that?
Okay, I hope we have a lot of times because my story is long. So first of all, I'm an immigrant. I didn't grow up and born in the United States. I was actually born and raised in Taiwan until I was 15 years old. And then my family moved to New York. So I totally have this New Yorker attitude of, things are fast paced and we go to things, we don't take anything. New Yorker are just real. And so my story actually began when I was 11 years old. I was in a big car accident that led to permanent damage to my leg. So for a long period, and actually up until now, I still walk with crutches. I spent 4 years in a rehab center when I was growing up from age 11 to 15, right before I came to America. So the journey of how I it really shaped all my beliefs and the way that I am being in my life. It started from 11 years old. And most of us, when we're 11, we're so out there, we're playing with our friends and we're running on the field. Having a car accident, having gone through that journey, it's just something that most people don't think about. People don't experience it. And when you are in that space, there's a lot of lessons that you learn carrying it and moving it forward. So my story, basically in a nutshell, started when I was 11.
Wow. And so how have you been able to overcome that?
I like to think of the word, how am I able to being the way I am? I don't believe in overcoming things, because overcoming, it means that you have to fight through a lot of things that you don't want. And, I think God given us everything that we need, everything that we want in our life. And so I didn't overcome things. I actually started to embrace what was given to me. And I didn't realize that that was what I was doing. I remember, I had that mindset of I need to be strong. I need to fight through things. I need to be this and that. I need to be independent. I don't want to depend on anybody. And during my years of learning from that trauma was that a lot of time I don't need to do things alone by myself. And I can actually ask for help. And asking for help was actually one of the biggest lessons that I have learned. And one of my value is making that connection of being helpful to someone, connection of allowing someone to give me the hand and help me when I need help. And I think going through that journey, I'm really appreciative of how a lot of people with faith, they came to me and they were reaching out with that helping hand. And it's coming from that space of, I want to help you. But when I was in that victim mindset, I didn't want help. I want to be strong. I want to be able to fight through. I want to be able to do things myself. I don't want to be seen differently. Yes, I'm walking with crutches. Yes, I'm only 4 feet 4 inches tall. I can't reach to the shelf, but I don't need your help. And to me, it's really doing ourselves a disservice, because human beings are designed to live in a community, to have each other. And so by saying that, no, I don't need your help, I'm actually being very selfish, because this other person, they're reaching out, they're doing they're serving, they're acting in their purpose, they're acting in their design. And by me saying, no, I don't need your help, I'm actually avoiding I'm breaking that bond, breaking that connection that God designed all of us to do in this universe. So I think I would like to think that it's not overcoming, It's actually unbecoming of who I was before and actually stepping into my own power of who I am.
Amen to that. Yeah, I do understand, because when you go through certain things in life, it really does take for you to just accept it. You have to accept it so that you can deal with it, and then you can move on. And so with that being said, with the help of others, you do tend to, it gets a little bit easier for you, you know what I mean? Because the challenge is already there. So I know from the injuries that I got from when I was shot, I needed the help. And so I wasn't the one that would resist, or felt too proud or too ashamed, no, I was open and I did embrace my situation. I was able, through prayer, and faith, to be able to hold on and, continue on with life. So yeah, that's very important.
Yeah. So I think the biggest, the hardest part for anyone who is going through a trauma or injury or tragedy is the word acceptance, right? Because when we think about acceptance, does that mean that I have to accept, this is how I am, this is who I am? Does it mean that I have to accept the fact that I may not be able to walk ever again? Do I want to accept the fact that, I'm losing a job, losing my family? These are the really challenging things for people to accept. And so a lot of us think that acceptance is about just giving up. There's no more hope. This is the way that we're stuck. This is the way that we're going to live our life. But acceptance is really about looking at what is left within you. And one of the analogy I love is like opening up a bag of Skittles. We all love the taste of rainbow, right? You pour it in your hand, you've had all these different colors that comes out from the bag. And the analogy I love about using the Skittle to relate to acceptance is that you opening up a bag of Skittle, you'll never know what's going to be in your hand. You have two options. You can focus on the color that you don't have in your hand, or you can actually just taste the rainbow.
Exactly.
Right? It's a two different mindset, two different feelings. And I'm not asking you to count like what you have in your hand. I'm asking you just pick up one and taste it and let life guide you. Let your faith guide you where you need to go.
Exactly. And it's not about accepting where you are and having to stay put there, because that's not what I meant either. What it is you just accepting where you are at the moment, but ultimately it's up to you. Are you going to get through that moment? And what are you going to accept? The help, right? You're going to accept help from others. You're going to go ahead and know that, things can change and better for yourself, but it's a mindset. You have to be able to have that will, that self-will, along with that faith, knowing that your tomorrow is going to get better, no matter what, it's going to get better. Because I remember when the doctors told me, you're not going to be able to be the same person again. I give you 4 years before you'll be able to be at least 50% of who you used to be. You're going to walk with a limp. You're going to go through this and you're going to go through that. And I remember just listening to the doctors, but as I'm listening to them, in the back of my mind is, no. In 2 years, and I was like giving myself the time, give me 2 years and you watch and see. I'm going to change my life. But it was a mindset. It was a will for me to want better and be better. You understand? And by faith, I got better. And so it is a process. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. And it's not something, but you do have to accept your reality. You have to. Because you sitting there and saying, well, no, and I can't accept it, or be angry and bitter, life is going to happen. And I say this all the time. Life is going to happen, and we cannot fight the inevitable. What's going to happen is going to happen. So we got to make the best of where we are and just have that drive and that will to say, you know what, no matter what my circumstances are right now, I know that I'm going to have a brighter and better tomorrow. So for me, that was my mindset when I was going through everything that I went through and all the challenges, because I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to eat again. I went through so many surgeries and so much of I mean, it was not an easy path. But I will say that instead of the 4 years, within 4 years, he gave me 4 years to be half of who I used to be. I would say within 4 years, I was walking okay. I was not walking with the limp that he told me I was going to walk with. You know, I was good, you know, and I was so grateful to God. Like, thank you. You have brought me through so much, you know, because it was a lot of tears, girl, a lot of pain and a lot of crying and suffering, but I didn't give up. And that's the key, is not giving up. You have to hold tight no matter what. And it's not easy. It's not an easy process. It really isn't, you know. But I just feel that with the right support around you, with the right love around you, with the right, you know, attitude, with the right, because I mean, I get it. It's hard. And I tell everybody, if you need some time to go ahead and just cry it out, whatever that time may be, take that time for yourself. You understand? Take that time, cry it out, feel your emotions, because once you deal with those emotions, that's how you can move forward from it. You understand? Because if you know, isolate yourself or you become resentful and angry, you're going to hold those feelings in, and those feelings aren't going to allow you to move forward with a better life, you know, with better things and newer things in your life. And so I knew that. And because I knew that, then I was able to handle my circumstances and my challenges and embrace what I needed to, so that I could be where I am today.
Yeah.
So
you have a very beautiful story.
Thank you. Thank you. So let me ask you, after everything that you've been through, speaking to the audience, those that can relate to you, what advice would you have for them?
I really think it's about choices, making the choices and having that trust. You know, when you think about all the things that had happened in our life, you know, even just within the last 2 years, there's a lot of fear around, am I going to be able to get through this? Am I going to be able to survive? Am I going to be able to ever become the same person again? So there's a lot of fear underlying all the feelings that we have, whether it's past trauma or the recent trauma that we have. And I would say that the most important things is, number one, acceptance, right? But once you accepted the situation, your reality of what you cannot control, then you can think about moving to choices of what you can control, what you are able to control. And there's a number of things that you can do to make that conscious choice. And one of the tools that I often use with my clients, and something that I speak about a lot, is something called energy leadership. And energy leadership, it's about using that inner wisdom that we have. You know, energy is not that woo-woo stuff. It's about using the wisdom that we have, and it's a self-guided leadership so that you can continue to thrive and become who you want to be, rather than staying status quo of who you were or who you currently are. And so with the energy leadership, I'll just run through it really quickly. There are 7 different ways of how you can look at your life situation, whether it's trauma, it's a tragedy, anything that happening to you. There are 7 ways of how you can shift that mindset. So the first one is, we call these 7 different ways of levels. Each level, you know, you go on higher and higher, and you could be anywhere on this scale right now. So level 1 is someone who is having a lot of victim mindset, who's, you know, things happening only to them. It happens to me. I'm stuck. There's no way out. So it's all about victim mindsethood. And then the level 2 is about fighting mode. You know, we need to fight through this. We need to put together. We need to do it. We need to pick up the steps so that we can get through this situation. It's more about fighting through the situation so that you can go forward in life. The third level is a level called more of a tolerance. Tolerance meaning that this is something that I cannot change. I'm stuck here. Let me just make the best out of this. And so that is the level 3, which is tolerance. Level 4 is a little more outgoing, outspoken. It's about being of service. I know I have a very unfortunate life, so how can I be better? How can I be a helping hand for others? So coming out from that servant's heart, being God's service, and in serving God, I'm going to help someone else who's less fortunate than me. So that's level 4. Level 5 is more of seeing things as opportunity. What can I learn from the lessons that I have gone through? What can I learn from my trauma? What can I learn from my tragedy? What does God want me to learn from this lesson here? And so you start looking at the opportunity rather than focusing on the trauma or the things that had happened to you. Level 6 is what we call a co-creation. This is where the connections start coming in. I am sure I cannot walk very fast, but there are other people who's really tall who can reach to things. And so how can I collaborate with others so that we can do this thing together? So you start looking for involvement or mutual connection with others so that each one of us will bring a talent onto the table to accomplish and reaching the goal. Level 7 is the highest level of how the way that we can see life event. Level 7 is total wisdom. It's unconditional love. You are who you are. You are being who you are at this moment, at this very same time. You can look into the mirror and appreciate yourself, and knowing that everything that's in front of you is fleeting. Right? Life is happening this very second as we're speaking here. Things will change. Things are constantly changing. So how do we unattach ourselves? Do not attach to the outcome of what it can happen. And we are living in the present moment. That is starting to give you the wisdom of how you can be in your life rather than doing life. A lot of us have this job, and our job is to do life. But what if your job is simply being in the life that you are? Then that gives you a total different perspective. So I often like to see how we make choices is by, imagining yourself walking into an elevator, and here you are, you have 7 buttons to choose. You can choose stay in the level 1, which is the victim mindset, or you can choose level 4, become a service to God who gave you a purpose to be here. Use that as your purpose of existing. And so once you pick your choose, right, you choose it, your elevator door is going to open, and what you're going to see at the other side of the elevator door is going to be completely different. So your outcome will be different. So the idea is, how do you get out of yourself from that level 1, the victim mindset, to a higher level of thinking so that your outcome, your result will be different?
That's great. That's great. And you're explaining these different levels, and that is what life is, different levels, and when I came up with my brand, which is different levels to life, that's the reason why I chose that. Because even though we all may go through, similar things, like we may face trauma, but we're facing it in a different way. We're handling things on a different level. So there's always a different level. Which way you choose to go about it is what matters the most. So that was awesome. That was awesome for you to share. Thank you. It's been great. I mean, I honestly, coming across this situation and everything that I've been through, for me, my faith has been like everything. I have seen people that have stepped in to help me that were complete strangers. People I've never known, people from church, people, that have stepped in to help me. Because at one point I did find myself by myself with my 3 kids, and I wasn't able to walk. I wasn't able to do anything, but, with my walker, I still had to be mom. I still had to figure it out. And this was me by myself in a whole new state that I was brand new to, didn't know anyone, so, it doesn't matter how dark of a place that you're in, no matter what you're going through, your mindset, your belief, and your faith is going to get you through it. And that's a guarantee. That is a guarantee, and so with that being said, I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful to have you on here with me, and to know that you, like you said, you've gotten through it. So that's awesome, really awesome. Is there anything else you think? Huh?
I said, thank you so much for having me. It's great to hear your story. It's very inspiring, and it's great to meet another, like-minded soul. And I think, the God made us so that we can connect with each other, and there's a reason why we're all connected.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I'm so grateful for everyone that I have connected with, for everyone that has been there for me and have supported me throughout the way. I mean, and that's what I'm here for, is to show the same kind of support, the same kind of advice, the same anything that I can do to help. I feel that this is my calling. This is what I'm here for. And this is why I put this series together, is so that, we can share with the audience what exactly it's about, and it's about helping. It's about, inspiring. When people can hear a story like ours and they can relate, that right there can help in whatever situation that they're going through. Because then it's like, oh man, I thought I'd gone through this, or I'm not going through it by myself. There's other people that are going through similar situations or the same situations that you've gone through or you're going through. And so to be able to hear and relate to other people, that's very helpful, don't you think?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think, the reason why we went through what we go through is so that we can inspire others to do the same. And so that in itself is serving purpose.
Yes, yes. Amen, girl. It's been such a pleasure to meet you and have you on this series today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we will stay connected. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your week.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you. And be blessed. Thank you so much. Thank you.